And I think men and women, male and female, are one thing as well. I don't think that we're that different. I don't think that men and women are that different. I don't think we are. Hello and welcome to my opinion about how I don't believe masculine and feminine energies exist. I just wanted to preface this and say that I'm not trying to say that my opinion is right, and that if you truly resonate with like masculine and feminine energies being something like extremely sacred to you, I'm not trying to offend you. This is my opinion as an intersex person. And I didn't want to script this. I didn't want to script or even write too much down and read from it directly or anything like this for this video. I wanted it to be purely authentic and purely coming from my heart and coming from a place that is like sacred to me, and my lived experience as a person with an intersex variation and how that has formulated this opinion. For me, the divine feminine and divine masculine are interconnecting one thing. As you know, being me, being the default baby, we all start the same. And I think the whole divide between male and female and then, you know, trans and non-binary and everything like this, like human, we are all one in the same. This symbol is coming to me. I'm being purely authentic in this video. Like I'm just literally being the most me that I can and just saying what I say. And I hope you can respect that. And I hope you can take something from this video. And I hope you enjoy this video as well. I don't even know if I'm going to put this before or after, okay? Anyway, this is my thoughts on this topic, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to my controversial opinion on how I think masculine energy and feminine energy don't exist in the way that we think that it does. My name is Bloom and I'll be your host today, and I'm an intersex person, which means that I am a genetic male and phenotypical female. This isn't a lesson on what intersex is. I have other videos on that, but basically I am born with elements of both sexes. My topic of discussion today is something that I have been believing for a very long time. It's something that I had to take some time to sit down and really formulate my opinion and structure, and have some big conversations with myself while I was planning to make this video, during which I had some pretty massive breakthroughs about my opinion, and my opinion is even stronger now in this. I'm not saying that this is the correct opinion. Smarter people than me have discussed this. Smarter people than me dedicate their lives to topics like this, and they go to university for it. Gender studies is a whole topic of its own, but a lot of these people don't have experience as a intersex person. So just my existence adds a little bit of spice to the conversation. So I have a lot to say, and I'm going to, share it with the internet because that's what I like to do. What we view as masculine and feminine, they are real energies. Energy definitely exists. But what I think is completely wrong is the fact that we have gendered them. I don't believe that they are inherently tied to a specific sex or gender. These energies are not exclusive to men or women. And going as far back as you could possibly go in human history, we have pigeonholed certain attributes and labeled them as like masculine and feminine. I'm not going to argue that, yes, traditionally, since the dawn of time, men were going and hunting and they have higher levels of testosterone, and that's the way they've been existing for thousands of years, and women have a traditionally more nurturing side. I'm not going to argue against what hormones do and how they affect your experience as a human. I just believe that these energies are in all of us, and just because we've assigned them as masculine and feminine, it doesn't mean that they are masculine and feminine energies, because they are just energies. And energy doesn't have a sex or gender. And I'm a very feminine person, okay? I have always been drawn to feminine things. You might want to say I was always drawn to feminine energy, which I guess I was. I was drawn to the energy that was softer and more nurturing and, beautiful aesthetic thing, all of that kind of stuff. But I honestly wonder how much of that identity, how much of that resonating was because I was a female. Well, first of all, it wasn't because I was a female, because technically I'm not a female. So I'm thinking, what was the thing that drew me to that energy, that made me resonate with that energy? Was it because that's just the type of person that I am? Or is it because I was conditioned that that is what I am kind of supposed to want? I do believe that people have a natural inclination to expressing either of these energies. But I also believe that through the media that we consume, through the way we are raised, we view things, we see things, and we emulate that, and we crave that. And I do know there are obviously men in my life and women in my life as well, and non-binary and trans and everyone, but there are people that from as young as they can remember, they gravitated towards a certain energy, and that's what they resonated with since they were young. But from a really young age, I mean, we are kind of told what we should and shouldn't want, and what we should like, and we kind of are already introduced to what our gender roles are. I also want to touch on the fact that I noticed that how a lot of people that I knew when I was younger who had that natural inclination towards a specific type of energy changed as they got older. A lot of the time I question, is that because they naturally grew and changed, or is it because they felt that pressure to step into their masculinity or femininity? Because you can't really escape that pressure, especially, in teenage years. Because I feel like a lot of the tomboys I knew when I was younger, they became like much more feminine. While I was exploring this topic, I really delved deep into my experience as a human. I honestly wonder how much of my femininity was my choice and how much I was trying to emulate what I saw as a survival instinct. Because as you know, when you're young, you are like a sponge to the world around you, and your parents and everything in your world shows you what it takes to survive. I believe that I was seeing media, I was seeing my mom, I was seeing the world around me. In order to survive, I had to be feminine. I was a girl, and these are the things that girls do, and these are the things that girls like. I kind of just accepted that, and then I existed as that. And it's really hard to go back to that young and understand like the inner workings of your brain as a child. But I think that it was a means of survival, that I was looking at these things thinking, this is what it takes to survive as a woman or as a girl. This is just the way that it is. And this is how I see people like me existing in the world. And not to mention putting them up on the pedestal, the most celebrated and the most elevated women around me were very feminine and, for example, like Disney princesses and all this type of stuff, which I was just like watching a lot of that kind of stuff when I was younger. And then when I found out that I was intersex, I felt completely robbed of my femininity. And I was there sitting like, how dare you tell me that I'm genetically male and that I have testicles and all of this stuff? Like, how dare you say that to me? Because you are robbing me of my life and like my mission in this world. And this is still a huge wound inside of me. I feel like my purpose as a woman, as a female, was taken away from me. From a very young age, I just knew that like I wanted to have children, I wanted to be a mother. And I don't know how much of that was like because I wanted to do that actually. I mean, I was a child. I didn't fucking know myself. But I knew that like that was my destiny. That was my purpose because that's just what I saw. And when I got robbed from that, I was like, holy crap. Like, what does this mean for me? Who am I? And what next? And I was terrified of being masculine. I was completely terrified that anyone would find me masculine at all because I just couldn't accept that this was the way that I was. I tried to amp up my femininity even more. And I still am scared of my masculinity because I can't even tell you why. I can't even tell you why, but what I can tell you is that there are a lot of fucking people out there that are terrified of their masculinity as well and their femininity. I know most men are very, very scared of expressing their feminine side. And not all, definitely not, but most men that I met are terrified of really expressing a feminine energy. And why is that? I don't know, because I mean, this is a whole other can of worms, but because there is a whole thing that like even women feel more comfortable to express their masculinity than most men to their femininity because, being feminine is degrading in some way. That's a different can of worms. Not even going to open that today. But the thing is, these energies already exist inside of us. If you put, even in a joking way, a wig and some eyeliner in a guy that's dressing up as a joke, to be funny. The second they put that wig on, the second they have some eyeliner on, the face change, the eyes, the pout, and they're expressing different mannerisms. That energy is already in there, and they feel comfortable. And they're like, oh yeah, this is funny. But there is an energy in there that is untapped. And I think a lot of people, that's what they love about doing drag. They are just like completely stepping into the energy that was unexplored before, and they did not feel safe to do that. Tying it into the whole concept of this video, is it feminine? No. I believe that it is just years and years and years and years of build up and build up. I'm just going to say this, for example, before I go on a little tangent, like the colors pink and blue were only recently kind of introduced in the history of humanity as male and female colors, but little things like this have added on to the masculine and feminine energy over the years. Like it's just been multiplying. And then it's just become this huge thing, like these two massive pillars of like, this is feminine energy, this is masculine energy. And it's all just absolute bullshit, in my opinion, because we are so much more neutral than I think we give ourselves credit for, or that most people want to believe. We are more neutral. And I truly believe that if given the right environment, if people felt safe to do so, they would be existing in a more neutral state. People really would be more comfortable expressing themselves in whatever way felt good at that point in time. Masculine, feminine, whatever, these two energies, which I honestly believe that there's probably more. It's probably a fucking whole circle of different energies. We all have them in us. And for some reason, we're like, okay, these go here and these go here and this is this, because that's what humans like to do. But again, my whole experience as an intersex person shows that even sex is not that simple. It's not binary. And you just really cannot argue with that's just the experience of not just humans, but lots of other species as well. Like it's more complicated than that. When I meet up with other intersex people and we talk about our life experiences, it's all just like we're fucking confused. No one fucking knows what it means. Medical people don't know. We don't know. Everyone else doesn't know. Like, sorry, I know I get existential a lot, but like, what is this reality? What is life? Like, who has the fucking rules? There are no rules. There is no like binary. It just is a big freaking soup of nonsense. Yes, we've created something that's like very structured because we're like, what is this reality? We need structure. We need things to identify with and all of this, but it's chaos. It's just absolutely chaos. Sorry to get existential on you, but I just think that it's in all of us. And the people who want to tell me otherwise, like, let's talk about it in the comments. Like, let's hash this out. Yeah, it's fascinating because I don't even know if I would have this strong of an opinion if I wasn't an intersex person. I don't know, because I wouldn't have had anything that really challenged my perception of gender. But it's so funny because existing as I am, existing how I am, and knowing what I know, and every time I think about like who I am, I'm like, holy shit, I'm a fucking genetic male. Like I literally have the fucking insides of a dude I have like this high testosterone that my body doesn't know what to do with, and like I have testicles, and like, but what does that even mean? Because I'm like, I'm a fucking woman at the end of the day, kind of, sort of. I don't even know. I don't know. No one knows. You know? So now you see where I'm coming from. You're like, what is this fucking nonsense? Anyway, my point being, masculine energy and feminine energy, let's stop fucking using the two as these like pillars of crap, because at the end of the day, I think we are so much more neutral. And if you can like look inside yourself and really think, this is for anyone who doesn't agree with me and is like, fuck you. Like, yes, like let's talk about it, because please, I love it when you disagree with me. Honestly, if you look inside yourself and you think, if I felt completely comfortable, if I felt there was no repercussions, no negative repercussions, if I could explore myself and my like identity and all its complexities, and there was no one else, it was just me, and I could do whatever I wanted, like what would you do? How would you like experiment with your identity and your expression, you know? And this can be a separate video, but I also believe that when you go so deep down in there, you get to that level, that's where like the sexuality thing comes out, because, you know, you go so deep and you're like, what is gender? What is this really? I think that a lot of people, you know, pretty much everyone would like go and fuck whatever they wanted to without any repercussions, without any like social constrictions. You would probably just go and fuck whatever you wanted to when you're horny if you felt a connection there. But that's a different story. That's a whole other thing I can formulate an opinion on and sit down with a glass of wine and like, right. But this is what I invite you to do, actually. Take what I have said, sit down, have a glass of wine, and think about gender. And just write what comes to your head. You know, it doesn't have to be a glass of wine, but like delve deep into what it means for you to be masculine or feminine and why that is. Take it from me. Like, I already had this opinion, but it came from years and years of little things. But once I delved deep, you know, this whole concept of me thinking emulating femininity was a form of survival, this is a new concept for me. So it's very interesting going deep inside and just exploring and just having a look around, being like, oh, wow, this is crazy. This is my opinion. I don't believe that masculine energy and feminine energy exist. I think that energy exists. And literally what I said about like the two energies, and there's probably multiple energies in those two energies, and we've just like categorized them to this and this. That's a new thing. I literally just thought of that now while I was speaking. So, but I do think that that's real, you know. I fully like think, oh yeah, that's probably so true, because there's multiple different aspects of like what makes masculine and feminine. So anyway, those words are silly. And what is the world and what is life? And are we living in a simulation? And, you know, nothing exists and we're all on a rock in space. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. And I hope you enjoyed this little ramble. I really appreciate you. I love you. And thank you for being here. Fuck.